Hey, so Edwin Walker is a gun expert, attorney with the Texas Law Shield and Gun. Represents defendants in the Second Amendment cases, and he's on the line right now. Edwin, good morning. Thanks for coming on.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So before we get into the issue, and I know there's an issue over private schools in Texas not allowing guns on campus, right? That's part of your issue.
These private colleges and universities, yes.
Okay, and but beyond, did you see the story that's hit over the weekend about, and I think NBC covered it, where states are trying to pass laws that would allow young kids to have guns or to shoot guns? Did you see any of that over the weekend?
Well, yes. I believe they were talking about an Iowa law. However, this actually struck me as kind of strange because Texas law has always been that children of any age may lawfully possess and use a firearm as long as they are under the supervision of somebody who's 18 years or older and they're engaged in some sort of hunting or sporting or other lawful activity.
And I know this might shock you down there in Texas, but I believe that's the law in New York State.
Well, I tell you what, any law from New York that says that anybody can lawfully possess a firearm does, in fact, shock me. Yes.
Well, listen, you have to understand. We're in upstate New York. 8 miles from me is the factory Remington Arms, and being here, there are a lot of very, very loyal gun owners and Second Amendment supporters. Here, it would shock you, but there are many Second Amendment supporters here in New York State. But especially
I know many people from upstate New York, and they're very fine, very Second Amendment, Constitution-loving folks. And New York has a proud history of defending the Constitution. It's just, unfortunately, in modern times, obviously New York City is the tail that wags the dog.
You know,
and so you people have to suffer because of what they believe.
On the issue of these kids, it really has been a parent's right? I mean, it's and you know the law in Texas. It's up to a parent. Obviously, you're not giving a kid a gun and saying, "Okay, go play and have some fun." Here's the combination to the gun safe. It's about learning how to responsibly use a weapon for sport.
Yes, that is true, and it is the parent's responsibility. In fact, Texas law, I'm sure, mirrors a lot of other laws in the country, which that Texas law says that it is a violation of law. It is a criminal act to recklessly allow a child to have unsupervised access to a gun. And so, if you leave your pistol out on the table and little Johnny gets it and unfortunately hurts themselves or somebody else, that's a criminal act. But that same law does not prohibit you from taking the pistol and taking little Johnny to the gun range and properly teaching him how to use the gun. That's lawful, but it is unlawful for somebody to recklessly allow a child to have access to a firearm.
Let's talk about the issue that you had coming on today, and that is about college students. What's the drinking age in Texas?
It's 21.
Okay, and I guess my question is, doesn't that contradict? So if the drinking age is 21, we have now said that while we can send you off to war, because of your age and immaturity level, especially during this day and age, we don't trust you with alcohol, but we're going to trust you with a gun on campus. Does that worry you a little bit?
Well, no, because that in fact is kind of a falsehood. Because what the law says, it says license holders are allowed to bring their concealed handguns onto college. Right now, they can take them in the sidewalks, walking lots, parking lots, parking garages.
Yeah.
But on August 1st, they'll be able to take them into the buildings. And in fact, Texas law says that you have to be 21 to get a handgun license.
Oh, so you'd have to be 21 anyway.
There is a very, very small exception which says that if an 18 to 20-year-old is a current active member of the military or is an honorably retired member of the military, then they can get a handgun license as well.
Yeah.
However, I believe there are only about 800 people in the entire state of Texas that have met that qualification that have handgun licenses. So there's by and large, there's not going to be any 18, 19, 20-year-olds on campuses with handguns. In fact, the DPS, the Texas Department of Public Safety statistics show that of the out of the almost 1 million license holders in the state of Texas, only about 30 to 35,000 fall into the age group of being between the ages of 21 and 25.
Okay.
And so we're not dealing with a very large group of people. And I think that's what's been lost in this whole debate, argument, analysis, whatever you want to call it, is that this law only allows license holders to bring their handguns. It's still going to be illegal for individuals who do not have licenses to bring guns onto college campuses. And so I think that this law is, I think that the adverse reaction to this law is much ado about nothing.
Don't you think, though, the adverse reaction is we just see some of the antics coming off college campuses today? And maybe it's not today, Edwin. Maybe it's our own recollection of what it was like on the college campus, from funnels to just inebriation to, and last night on the Oscars, the big thing was rapes on college campuses. That these kids get to the point where they're under the influence and they just can't be trusted. And don't you think that's what the focus is? They really don't trust these kids on campuses?
Well, it's against the law for a license holder to be intoxicated and be in possession of their concealed handgun. So the law's already covered that issue.
Right,
and also keep in mind that this would not, the law already is that a license holder can carry their gun anywhere other than the buildings of a university. And so if there is a frat house that's off campus, license holders are already allowed to carry their concealed handguns those places.
But and I'm not trying to argue the point, but, you get a 19-year-old kid who probably shouldn't have a gun on campus anyway, right? Because you got to be 21 in order to be a licensed handgun concealed weapon, to have a concealed license. And but you still find these kids out there using maybe illegal drugs. You still find these kids punching someone. They get into a fight. It's over a girl. Inebriation. Yes, it's illegal to use the gun while you're under the influence. But don't you think that when they're under the influence, they're really not thinking straight?
Well, as a general practice, yes, I would agree with that. However, I think that to bring lawfully possessed handguns into that kind of scenario, the law doesn't allow that, and so that would be by definition a straw man. And
your belief though is by having guns on campus, it will prevent these horrific shootings that have been happening in these gun-free zones on campus, and this would help people protect themselves.
Yes, it would give the opportunity for a license holder to have the best tool available to them for self-defense in the event something terrible happens to them,
right?
Either in a classroom, the library, or walking between classrooms and libraries and their automobile. And in fact, women, I think women by and large are going to embrace this.
Yeah.
There are just as many license holders who are women as men in the state of Texas, and addressing the issue of campus rapes and things of that nature.
Yeah.
That if a 23-year-old female license holder is walking through the University of Houston campus at 10:30 at night and gets attacked by a rapist, would you prefer that she either have a handgun to protect herself that she is trained to use, or be at the 100% total mercy of this rapist who's going to do God knows what to her?
Very interesting stuff, Edwin Walker. I don't think you're going to see this on New York campuses anytime soon, to be honest with you. But we appreciate your time. Thanks so much.